and actually 1 month to go to get everything in order for you. And by the way, buy assets, invest in yourself for additional money. You can't sit on your any laurels that you have right now. Money that you may have in the bank, in a brokerage account, money that you think you have access to that somebody else is holding. You never know what's going to happen in the future, but you should consider offshore, outside of USS, banking, real estate, and we got a lot more to talk about. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who's out here needing information, who's not even paying attention to anything that's happening. Can you believe some people don't even know that the government was shut down? It's incredible. So when you start thinking about it, not everybody is thinking along the lines of making sure that they're going to have a way to make ends meet 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So stop struggling now. That's what we do here, ladies and gentlemen. Try to make sure. And because of that, on the top of every live stream is now findhelp.org. Did you guys see the phone lines all over the country? Did you guys see some of the postings I did yesterday in Las Vegas where Texas Roadhouse, which is around the country, were giving veterans a free meal, a voucher, so you can come anytime? There was places in Vegas also giving free buffets for two people as long as there was a veteran, one of the two people. A guy waited yesterday in Las Vegas from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. and he still had 35 to 40 minutes left before he could get his free meal for two. That's right, you heard me. Exactly. 3 hours, and there were still people coming. The line was probably 1,000 people. That's how crazy this is. And that was also the way it was at Texas Roadhouse, because on our way to First Watch, another great place to eat, we were like, why is everybody over here in this area? It's crazy in the middle of the day. And then we find out veterans get a free meal by Texas Roadhouse. You just drive up, pick up your voucher. This is what we're dealing with out here, ladies and gentlemen. You may see that there's more people that have a problem in America. If you missed Monday's Money Making Monday live stream, I suggest you go check it out. Down here in the chat room, I just put in findhelp.org. That's right. Medical, health, caregiving, job training. The list is endless. If you need some help, I suggest you go to findhelp.org ASAP. All right. Nonprofits help you. That's what we do here. We try to help people, ladies and gentlemen, and we make you independent. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Jonathan Rodriguez, 7450. I see you. Thank you so much for being here. And the simple tagline this evening: what's up, SSN? You know, man, we're here. You're here. And there's a lot to talk about. We're going to make things happen. But we have to get people up to speed. Healthcare can be impacted. It will be impacted. Medicare, Medicaid impacted, SNAP benefits impacted because the bill that they signed takes money away from those programs. And if you miss Monday's night show, that was very, very important. Because if you knew how much personal wealth the people make in America, you would be shocked, and you would also wonder, and now you would understand why 1 year and 1 month you need to make sure your debt is low as possible. Some people would say, Eric, I can't do that. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm having my credit cards. I'm paying my credit bills and the minimum that I got to pay, and you'll never pay it off. But what happens if you lose your job? Like what happened to people in the last 30 days for the shutdown who were federal employees who have a nice living, and 80% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck, including some of them. And people weren't accepting those vouchers. They weren't accepting something IOU from a government that owes $40 trillion after this bill is passed. So you're broke and you're going to give me an IOU? No, thank you. We're not letting you get food with an IOU. No, thank you, because we need money to pay our employees and our vendors, our suppliers. That makes sense, I hope. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we're in rarefied air. Now, let me give you some numbers that's staggering. Personal net worth of the bottom 50% of Americans, that is 175 million Americans, ladies and gentlemen. Hear me? 175 million Americans, their personal net worth is around $13,000. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Now, do you understand why the teeter-totter is like this? 175 people is down here. Guess what happens on a teeter-totter when everybody's down here? Unless you're able to hold on to something, you're going to be sliding right along with everybody else to the bottom. 13,100, 13,400 net personal wealth for the bottom 50%. How about this? 50% to 90%. You would think, oh my, yes, it's a little better, but it's only 300,000 personal net worth. So now you might ask, well, Eric, what about the top 10%? Well, now that's a different story, ladies and gentlemen. Their personal net worth, we're talking about 35 million people. So you do understand 90% is over 270 people, right? 270 million people, right? Top 10%, 3.1 million. That's very nice for them. How about the 1%? Their net personal wealth on average, 15 million. So I have something to ask you. If you know those numbers, why in any metric would the bottom 90% give tax cut, tax breaks? You pay your taxes to give them subsidies for corporations and the wealthy. Why would you do that? Why, there's a problem, Houston. I see we had a problem. Hopefully my mic is on and everything's good. Hopefully you understand that was not sustainable. And therefore, now you understand why now we are all going to be up a creek without a paddle unless you move towards the top 10%. And when you have 80% of your population living paycheck to paycheck already, it's already curtains, because all it takes now is for the insurance bill to double, or your property taxes to double, or you get sick and have to go to the hospital and you don't have coverage. That's all it takes. All right. Now, what we talk about is solutions, right? So the first solution was findhelp.org. You see it in the chat room, everybody on replay, which, by the way, we had a problem with Monday's live stream. It did not populate. It still says it's rendering on YouTube. 48 hours later, they have new games now, ladies and gentlemen. That's their new games. Because on Monday's live stream, I showed the charts for just what I told you on the screen. I also showed the charts that discussed layoffs. And the chart that showed layoffs is the largest amount of people laid off between 2008 and 2009. Guess what's number three? If you said 2025, you're a winner. That's right. The same amount of layoffs. It's a little under, a little less, but it's approaching 2008, 2009 levels. And it might be, it's right under it. So it's going to either break the 2008 level or it's going to break the and make the record. We won't know for another month and a half. But the government, they are not giving out the numbers. That's right. They just said today, we're not giving out numbers for last month. What kind of country do we live in now? The one in denial is what our government is doing to make sure you don't know what's going on and how bad it is. But numbers don't lie. We already have the previous numbers, and it's on track to break the record for the most amount of Americans unemployed ever. Think about that. And some would say, well, what about the Great Depression? Well, see, here's the problem. Great Depression was 100 years plus ago. The population was smaller, way smaller. So therefore, that's why 100 plus years later, a couple of generations has happened. So our population has expanded. So it would be easier to surpass the 1930 numbers. No problem. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand what's happening, well, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody else, the followers of SSN Nation, stop struggling now. You guys know what to do. Let me get you some other things up to speed because I've been talking about this unstoppable domain. I now have to talk about even more because if you don't think let me ask people this thing down below in the comments section. When you deposit your money, who keeps your money? Who keeps your money? When you put your money in a bank, when you give your money to a brokerage account, when you transfer money up to an exchange, a crypto exchange, a stock market exchange, who keeps your money? When you give it to a broker, they have your money. They are out there. All of them are out there. They have assets under management, your money. They all utilize your assets under management in some capacity. If there's a meltdown, some of that money is used as collateral for them to do something else. So you have to understand what happens if they can't pay them back because they have no new money coming in. The economy could go haywire. That is something you need to think about as well. So when you do have things like crypto, and there are wallets, which means you can keep your own money. Now, I'm not saying crypto is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying crypto is this thing that you can keep yourself. It doesn't make any money unless you do some other things that are riskier to make some interest on it. But again, highly volatile, highly risky. But the point is, you should have to dabble or at least have your own wallet. And if you're going to dabble in crypto, you need to have your own wallet. So let's start with number one. I don't need to give you my alphanumeric characters, which would be safety for one thing, but crypto is not to be anonymous. That's a lie. But Unstoppable Domain allows you to pick a domain that is not an alphanumeric, 28 characters or whatever. You can just go stopstrugglingnow.crypto. All right, there you go. And so in the chat room, I put that down now. And do not go get it. It's a one-time fee. $5, $10, $20, $25 or more, depending on if you go with a .x or .888 used to be higher and all these other things. But they have different extensions, but it's crypto. So anybody can send me crypto using the name stopstrugglingnow.crypto, ericbird.crypto, ssnlifestyle.crypto, ssnnation.crypto, .nft. You get it? Your name, if your name's still available, dot whatever you pick, Bitcoin wallet, dot crypto, dot NFT, dot X, and the other extensions. The one-time fee. There is no annual fee. You own it. People can send you any crypto, the top 400 cryptos you can get, but you don't have to give them the alphanumeric number or nothing. That's major. And once you have it, you mint it, and now it's on a blockchain. Nobody can remove it, unless, of course, the blockchain disappeared. Now, that is worth its weight in gold to me because you don't know what's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you guys something else that's pretty alarming, but at least we get you in the game to play. And Black Friday's coming up next week. Don't, even though they're cheap right now, but during Black Friday, Unstoppable Domains usually has something like 2 for 1, 3 for 1. You just never know what they're going to break out. They'll have this Black Friday special or Cyber Monday specials, and they'll be like, get 3 and get 2 free kind of thing. And remember, it's a one-time thing. It's not .com, it's not .net, .org, all this other stuff that you have to pay an annual fee that just keeps rising and rising, and they can change it whenever they want. This is, once you have it, nobody can take it away from you, and they can't take it off the blockchain. They can't call up an ISP and say, oh, they're hurting my feelings. Did you see that video? They got to take it down. None of that. You understand? So that means also that you can be anywhere in the world. Doesn't have a border. Think about it. All right. Now, let's go. I saw something here. I saw MDA 0214. Another investor's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he says his tagline. I seen PBD talking about estimated 3 million repos this year. Easily. It's going to be an all-time record. It's already a record. That is correct. Imagine it and imagine what's happened over the last 30 days. You know, we already knew this sign is already there. How do you know the sign's already there? Is because people stop paying their insurance. So once they stop paying their insurance on cars or for their health, you know there's a red flag, because after you can't pay your insurance, the next up is for a car. If you have a loan, like most people do, then you're getting a call from the mortgage, the loan company saying, hey, man, you don't have insurance on your car. We're going to put in our insurance on there. Their insurance is some crazy number, like $3,000 a year. So now all of a sudden you had the average, what is the average? The average is like $1,000 now. Can you imagine $1,000 or $700? Doesn't matter what it is, but can you imagine $300 more per month after 80% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck? Yeah, it's going to be an all-time record. It's simple. It's not sustainable. And after this shutdown, there's been it spiked. It's going to spike. Cars are going to be repoed because there was already people that were already in the pipeline for 1-2 months late. There's a number for that as well. So I believe, if I don't know I never look at the repo numbers. I just know it's been a record high, and it continues, and it's standard. We already know this. 80% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck. We have a large amount of layoffs, third highest in history. So that means all those people, their stuff's gone. Credit cards locked. because that's an all-time record high as well. So that means you're going to have to figure out how to make yourself some money independently of your job. And by the way, we've always touted Airbnb. Obviously, when there's a great economy, or I shouldn't say great, all we need is a tourist economy. Now that America's went to isolationism, meaning we're going to arrest people coming from England, coming from Canada, coming from Mexico, coming from Latin countries, coming from European countries, people aren't coming. Now that affects tourism. And if you have 80% of your population living paycheck to paycheck, only a small sector of Americans are willing to go on vacation. And now you're worried about going through TSA. We have a government looking through people's phones. You say something bad about the government, they're jacking you. Doesn't that sound kind of like Russian or China or something? But the point I'm trying to make, this is going on. So people are saying, I'm staying home. And some people go, oh, they're immigrants. No, it's not immigrants. It's legal citizens, U.S. citizens. These are people who are visiting on their passport to come to America when they're outside from another country and they're not brown. People, we are getting screwed. And now you don't have tourism dollars coming. Now what? Look at the tourism industry. Vegas. You guys want to know something? The F1 is in Vegas in less than 2 weeks. They've only been here 2 years. In Vegas, people made reservations a year in advance. Right now, today, people were hitting me up saying, I have a 1-bedroom from the 19th through the 24th of November. I'm willing to give it away. That 5-day period is F1 Sunday, F1 Saturday, F1 sprints, F1. I mean, this is crazy that is available. And get this, I will take $600. This is crazy right now. This is from last year at my place, a 2-bedroom. They were charging over $1,000 per night. A 1-bedroom was $700 per night. And now people are giving them away. And you know why? We had a shutdown. Flights were canceled. People didn't know there was going to be an end in sight. And even if there is an end in sight, they would have to come starting in about 6-7 days. So they weren't going to take a chance. They started canceling their stuff, canceling their hotels because they had to cancel in advance. Some are 7 days, some are 14 days. Now people are scared to come because even if they get hemmed up at the airport, they're getting their phones checked. Hey, you said something bad about our government. Sorry, you can't stay here. We're deporting you or stopping you from going any further. This is what's going on. So if you think this is going to somehow turn around, it's only going to authoritarian situations, which now means whatever you own is at stake, that's being held at anything that is in somebody else's name. And you go, what do I mean, Eric? My bank account has my name. No, you sign documents when you have a bank account that your money is their money after you give it to them. That's why they can withhold it from you if you go down there and say, hey, I need $25,000. And they go, I'm sorry, we don't have that. Come back another day, make an appointment. It's an emergency. I'm sorry. It's no, sorry, not going to happen. Your brokerage accounts. Oh yeah, well, I'm sorry, you can't withdraw any funds. Nah, we're going to stop redemptions. Anybody know anything about that for your ETFs, mutual funds? No redemptions? Nah, sorry, can't have it. We have too many people calling up wanting redemptions. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, it appears we're going in that direction. And you need to protect yourself. So let's see what else we got. We have some more investors in the house. And oh, by the way, let me throw this one down because I forget about that. DIM pals and other investors here. Welcome to the SSN Nation. Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Another investor, he invests in the stock market, just like MDA0214. He invests in the stock market. And that is what the other part of this is. You're going to have to invest in yourself, ladies and gentlemen, because the stock market is not going anywhere. Bet on that. And therefore, why would you not pick something? You're going to have to learn. Yes, indeed. If you don't already know, you better learn, because that, whether it goes up or whether it goes down, you can make money. That's what makes this so powerful. Meanwhile, a lot of people do what, you do. You say, hey, let somebody else manage it. Right? But DIM pals, welcome again to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. I'm sure he's doing the salsa dance from all this volatility from the stock market, because he does stock market investing. Good evening brings his tagline. Smash that like button. Oh, I love it. That's right. Give it a one piece. Are you guys ready for the ride? That's right. It's going to be a ride. And by the way, speaking of a ride, you cannot stop from being in the stock market. I will have to tell people right now. The Atlanta Fed president, he says he will not seek another term. So he's going to resign. You know what this means? This means that Trump gets to appoint another yes man. And whether inflation goes to 3.5, it won't matter, because he now has 2 votes on board that he gets to have out of the 9. He's going to have 2, maybe 3 actually, because he has another person that's partial to him. So that'll be 3, because he wants rates to be reduced. Do you understand rates being reduced means your money sitting in the bank is going to be worth less? And if inflation is 3.5, it's not going to do any good to have interest rate under 3.5. That means any money you leave in a bank is worthless. It loses value. All right. Now, let me do something else, because I started talking about the investment. I always like changing to this screen that I've never used yet, because I've been wanting to be in an environment where I can go back and, oh man, did I erase this or something? I want it to be in an environment that I can go and make some things happen. This right here, this was I wanted to put on, because whenever I talk about this is funny. I know MDA says, no, man, don't talk about this. Yes, this is a bot, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, yes, yes. This is actually a thing, yes, but I too can only say the one thing that is major with this Autobot. If the stock market is rising, the Autobot is not that effective at all. But if gold is going downtrend, very effective. All right. And it's kind of effective when it stays almost level, but long as it's trending down, it's much more effective than trending up. So if you want to get into something, here you go. But just keep in mind, you see what that goldrushregister.info says. That's where you go. You know my name, Eric Bird, is the referral. Yes, there's referral. But the ride that he's talking about is based on, and speaking of that, if the stock market continues to go up, gold is kind of like hanging. It's not like there's a reason to drive it up, but I suspect a lot of people would be buying gold. All right. Now, back to, are you ready for the ride? So the Federal Reserve will increase interest rates. So and that's bad for us, because after they pass this bill, we are going to be 4 more trillion. We're going to be $41 trillion over the next 10 years for sure in a deficit. Do you understand? There's no way to pay it back at 4%, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We're already at $1 trillion of interest only, of your tax money is gone for just paying the interest of our deficit. And if we default, there's a problem. All right. So DIM pals, thank you so much for being in the house, man. So what is going on is we have EV Place in the house. Another investor businessman is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Now, you know you're going to have to tell me how things are going in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and how it went. And he brings his tagline, good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing well. It's bumpy, but we are getting there. Yes, it's bumpy. And you're going to have to be prepared for bumpy, ladies and gentlemen. Like I keep saying, there's no way around it. But we need you to get a little help. And oh, by the way, did anybody see me drop that Las Vegas custom car show video on the shorts? Maybe not. I know we don't have that many views, but it's okay. The reason I mention this is because now that, you know, people are into custom cars, they're still doing that, custom motorcycle, custom cars, and EV vehicles. But how about you have an ICE vehicle and you're worried about running down your battery because you want that high wattage output? Well, there's a solution. And the solution is in the chat room. I put a link, I think. Let me make sure I did. I'm pretty sure. Yes, I did. And that is where you find the remarkable clean energy recharge from your car moving and recharging the renewable energy source that can produce 700 watts plus of awesome power and sound, custom by this man, EV Place. Go check him out, ladies and gentlemen, because you can rig it up to where you can have hours of sound without running down your battery or running an extension cord to an electrical outlet. Talk about badassery. This is it. Go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. I highly suggest it. Because if I was younger and was doing my little custom car stuff, and I found out that I have a BMW 633 sitting in a field, so to speak, behind gates and all this, and the guy was from Guatemala that had the yard. So, of course, in light of the situation, he says, well, I'm going to go back to Guatemala. So he doesn't call, say nothing. He just hands it over to some other guy. I go and visit. I'm like, needless to say, the car is now 30 years old. Yeah. Or is it 40? Wait a minute. It's 40 years old. Needless to say, the factory bumper or factory air dam, yeah, gone. Factory fog lights, yeah, gone. Factory spoilers, yeah, gone. Special lights, yeah, gone. It's like, the only thing they didn't take is some 1980s rims that nobody can get. And the only reason they didn't take those is because they're locked. I said all. So it's hilarious. When you go there, it looks like somebody stole your ride, right? Pieces of the ride is missing. Poof, poof, poof. They didn't take the engine either, because that would take some doing. I'm surprised it was still there. But nonetheless, you can always get a 3.3 or 3.5, actually, is what I would get if I have to change an engine. But the point is, this is what we're dealing with out here. If I was doing custom and was going to fix, now see, I still own it. I still have it. But I now have to remake it, which would cost me thousands of dollars. But if I did, then I would have to go see EV Place, because being able to run a more powerful system in an older car means I don't have to rely on my battery. And batteries are usually only 14 volts, 13.5 just for a start. You're driving down the street and you decide to run old school analog fogs, which I can change them to LEDs and all that, but old school fogs, old school lamp, the front lights, the high beam, whatever comes up. You know, the rear brake lights, lights in the back, they burn and take up a little more electricity, even though you can probably change them to LED. But the fact is, imagine while I'm driving, I'm actually running the wattage without having to put in amps or anything like that under seats, under the front seat, under the back seats, in the trunk. No, I put in EV places, new inductions, systems with 700 plus watts that renews itself, and it's running off of that while I'm driving down the road. And when I park at the in the spot at the what's it, William Land Park on Sunday afternoon in Sacktown. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, showtime. So I'm just letting you guys know this is the man you go see. Click that link. All right, let's go. He says his tagline. Oops, I went ahead. Hold on. Let me see. Let me double check. MDA 0214 before we get to that. Insane. I wonder how many would live check to check if they never had a car loan. Even Robert Kiyosaki don't believe in car loans. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Car loans is a major problem. And they set it up. The same thing that's going to happen with home loans. The same thing. Let me explain. A lot of people don't understand where we come from. Back in the day, I go down, let's say what you guys call now the Lambos and all these high end cars, right? The Ferrari dealerships and all this, right? So back in the day, go down there and these guys are like, "Hey, you want to get this car? Okay." Now I'll use today's numbers. So these cars are 200 G's. Most people are like the first thing is most people that buy these cars are on a lease. Usually it's like 2 years. All right. Because the warranties used to only be for those expensive cars for a couple years. That's it. So after that, you're not under warranty. You're like, F that. You know how much it costs just to change some spark plugs? I mean, seriously. So anyhow, the point is that's when these guys start telling me, this is like 30 years ago. They tell me, we can get you this Ferrari, because I love Ferraris, right? The way they look, I'll put it that way, the way they look. That's the only caveat. And I'm like, no, man, I can't mess with Ferraris. And he's like, no problem, man. I'm like, hey, man, what do I look like buying a car for 150,000? Now today, that same type car is 250. But back then, it was like, what? Come on. He's like, no, don't worry, man. After they check my credit, they come out with the champagne. We can get, what can we do for you? But the point is, when the dude said, I can get you a 10-year loan, I was like, have you lost your freaking mind right now? It's like, what? How long is this warranty? Have you lost your freaking mind right now? But yet, people still ride them, drive them, have them, buy them. And now we have ordinary cars where people are doing 7, 8, 9 year loans. And they're buying cars for $100,000 and having payments of $900, $1,000, $1,200 per month plus insurance. So yes, highly recommend do not have loans. I told you guys about this years ago. You should not. You should get a car that now we're going to enter into the area that people are going to go with used vehicles, which by the way, there's no market for used vehicles either because people don't have the cash to buy the cars. Who's a good car? People would say, okay, I need 7 Gs. People are like, well, I don't have 7 Gs. And they're like, well, I'm not going to sell it to you for 3 Gs. I mean, what? So now there's a glut of used cars that's available, right? There's also going to be a market. If you're in the market for a car, stop struggling now. You should be looking at auctions. Number one, you should, first of all, let me give you some heads up, right? I used to do car stuff. Rent-a-cars. The ones that have kept up with their maintenance and upkeep and keep records. Now, because the rental cars are so expensive, people are now not really driving them around like they used to. So that would be one spot you could find where they're like $5,000, $4,000. And some of them, of course, would have 100,000 or 70,000 or 60,000 miles, and the car's only 2 years old. But oftentimes, They have warranties on them. And as long as they say 3, 4 years or something like that, 3 years, full maintenance, upkeep, all that, let's roll. At least you're rolling with the cheap, inexpensive car. That's number one. Number two is auctions again. All right. That is always a thing. There are a lot, depending on what state you live in. Some states are more lenient on how people are car dealers and have a license than others. If you live in a state and you know a car dealer, you need to go to the auction with them. That's all I'm going to tell you. With today's technology, you can put a VIN number in online, even, or call the dealer. There's a couple of ways. Dealers are generally regional, but sometimes, depending on the brand, it'll tell you the maintenance and upkeep schedule if there is one. Other times, the factories online, you can put in the VIN number, that will show you what the car has been going through. Then, of course, you have to go with offline type of stuff, you know, um, Carfax or something of this nature, just to see if, whatever little bit of info you can get. But the point is, if you do that route, then you need to go there, check out the ride yourself, bring the mechanic guy that you know or don't know, pay somebody, let them bring their little testers, they're handheld these days, and check it out. Okay? Those are two ways that you can buy less expensive cars and cash, because you are going to need cash, because no matter what, this is stop struggling now. You need money to put into investments. You can't sit there and be like living paycheck to paycheck and thinking that you're going to be able to get some passive income without you having to work for it. That's not how it works. You have 1 year, 1 month. That's what you've got to get your credit score down. So we're going to go to the debt consolidation situation that I've talked about here. And I'm going to give you a person that you need to go see, or email rather, tracy.sharpe. Let's see if I can find it here. And I'll put it in the chat room for you. Once again, everybody who watches this and is listening on the podcast, I'll give it to you right now. Get your pen, pads, and papers ready whenever you watch this channel. T as in Tom, RACY dot Sharpe with an E at the end, SHARPE, tracy.sharpe at moneyladder.com. Hit her up. Let her know you need debt consolidation. You don't want to file bankruptcy in this environment. You do not want to have debt collectors so your credit score stays at 450 or 500, 550, whatever. You don't want none of that. So you can have debt resolution, a better vehicle for you for 1 year to 2 years. They do the deal. You make payments. You are signed off on time, paid as scheduled, and you're just like the big boys. Who's the big boys? The guys who have those interest-only loans for 15 years. The multimillionaires that you can't get that loan. And then since it's interest only for that whole time, when year 10 or 12 comes, they say, hey, can I extend it? And they're like, yeah, we'll extend it another 5, 10 years, interest only, because it's the interest they care about. The principal's always going to be there, and they've already leveraged it anyhow. So they don't care. You can't do that unless, of course, you're in the top 10%, right? Let's go. That's where you want to be. So get your credit score to 775 by December 31st, 2026. I'm not saying that's D-Day, but you need to already started things right now for the next year, year and a half, all right? To get it up there. Why? Because I want you guys to remember one thing. Using debt, a lot of people say don't use debt. But I'm going to tell you something. If you can get 0% interest for 24 months like now with good credit, and in fact, you can have like a 750, you can have a 740, and they're offering people 18 months, 21 months, and 24 months. But guess what? If you have 775 and higher, my prediction, because there's no way they can stop themselves, By the end of next year, there should be 30 to 36 month 0% interest credit cards. And you need to have that card because all that debt you might have, because remember, 80% of people living paycheck to paycheck, you can roll it into the other card. Get your mileage, right? Get the card with the miles, the perks, and all that. And now you have 0% for even if it's 2 years is awesome. But what if it's three? 0% except for your annual fee because you're going to have to pay monthly, right? But so what? Versus what you might have now 18%, 25%, 35% annually that you can never pay back. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, work on yourself. Just what I was talking about before. All right, let's get into it. EV Place says Blue Marlin, no changes. They will not get a penny more from me until they will build what I've paid for. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. EV Place. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. I just want you to explain to people what exactly you mean. Because like me, I have been under this scenario and people said, well, what do you mean you just stop payments? What if they don't give you your money back? And I said, well, if I don't get what I was supposed to get, am I supposed to give them another 40 grand, 50 grand? And then in the end, what? You see, there was no guarantees. So I will lose the 17 to 20, but I ain't going to lose 80 because I'll be hunting for people. You feel what I'm saying? And that's where we got to in the DR. So that's why I had to stop effing with these guys in reality because everybody, 100% of all business activity that I've been dealing with was always, the money was always, well, yeah, we owe you money, but yet, yeah, you gave us money to do this, but hold up. This is happening 100% of the time. Funny stuff with the money. I said, no, I can't operate like this. I'm not who you guys think I am. I said, so if we get to something that we can deal with where I get some money back and we can deal with whatever, we're good. But if we're not that, then we got issues. And that's why I'm not going back to the island, because if I see some people, even after what we negotiated, I ain't going to run up on somebody and I'll be woofing. So I think it's best that I don't go. This right here is sad. And unfortunately, why I had to stop talking about projects in the DR. I can't believe this because, again, what makes me mad is Blue Marlin developers. We were there 3 years ago, I think it was. Almost 3 years ago, I think, when they built where he bought at, except we were in the building right by the pool. They only had like the building by the pool, and that was just now one or two buildings was finished. They were going to go back out towards the road or something because it came at nighttime. And the developer was talking a good game. People that were there, that were other developers and other realtors, they were talking a good game. These guys build on time. These guys are awesome. We're talking. I'm talking to the owner. I told the owner, hey, man, you need to come on and do this, but he didn't. So that's why I never really talked about it. But now, after this happens, I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Because they were telling me about stuff downtown and all these other projects they were doing, and I should promote them and do this. And I was like, no, it's too late for this, man. I ain't really rocking with everybody anymore because I can't trust nobody. So now I'm seeing this, and now this is where it usually goes. You're going to stop payment. You're going to sit there and say, and they're going to sit there and just be like, we already got your whatever thousands. We don't really give a damn. And no good faith negotiation comes of it because you're going to sit there and go, give me what I paid for. And they're going to say, we don't want to unless you give us more money, or whatever other story they're going to come up with. And unfortunately, that's where this goes. But I commend you for saying, okay, no more money coming. And you do realize you could lose all of it, right? I mean, are you willing to go to the mat? Because that's where I'm at, right? I'm like, I have uh, one project that I asked for a refund, obviously, did not come. And so it's somewhere between 17 to 20 grand. Still never paid attention to it because it's not relevant at this point because I'm not pressing them on it. All I know is I'm sitting here waiting because it's Larimar. Larimar is not even going to be nowhere near finished for 2 years. Not Larimar, the whole thing, just the prime towers that was supposed to be done this year, which everybody knows. Let's just give them till June of next year. It won't be done June next year either for the prime four towers. So probably 2027, 2028. I don't know. 2 years maybe? Okay. But that's 2 years from now. So think about all that money that I would have given these guys, which would have been around 60, 70 grand. And I'd be sitting here today pissed as hell, knowing that there's nothing I could do. Knowing it's going to be 2 years from now. And knowing that you lost out on the market doubling twice. All-time record highs even again today on the Dow. All of that money would have been sitting over there earning zero. In fact, depreciating at this point. So, yeah, uh, are you prepared, man? That's all I got to say. I've only paid 20K each. Now they're asking for 33% of balance. Apartments should be ready, but they are not. No elevator yet. What? How is there no elevator? Is it supposed to have an elevator is the question. I'm assuming that it should because it's, what is it, 4 stories plus one? So it has haven't. I mean, well, it doesn't have to. That's a long way up though. Um, how can they, how, well, what's your deal? Oh, that's 33%, but they're not done. Well, again, man, you're going to have to do it how you do it. But at this point, I don't know what to tell you. I know what to tell you. I know what to tell you. You need to make a video. But if you don't want to be in the doghouse, if you don't want to be in the doghouse, I will gladly make a video. Just send me what they said, the email. I won't show your name or anything. Just white out your name, block out your name, whatever. Send me an email that they sent over requesting these whatevers, and I'll make the video. Because, like I said, guys that lie to me in my face, I got no problem messing with them. All right. So I will do it. Okay. Only a few out of 50 apartments in Building E are ready. Can't rent them during heavy constructions. Nope. And even if you did, how much could you really rent them for at this point in that location? And by the way, if you're still there, let me know about the weather. Because remember, last year was one for the ages where it rained nearly every day. And I'm not referring to the afternoon showers. I'm talking about people were like, it was raining, downpouring for not just a 5-minute, 10-minute intervals. Let me know how the rain has been if you're still there. All right. I will take them at least entire year to finish Building E. Exactly, man. Exactly. Exactly. Deal. I will send you my case. Thanks. Yes. Support at stopstrugglingnow.com and let me go at him. All right. Because like I said, I don't remember the guy's name or nothing. I just know what he looks like. And I have no problem because see, all these guys, again, I told people before, I said, one is too many. Two is a major problem. Three means this is an epidemic and everybody's doing it. And sure enough, there's hardly anybody. Nobody's delivering on time. So that's out the book. That's off the table. There are no deliveries on time that are real projects. I'm not talking about 2 5-story high buildings now. Come on. I'm talking about actual projects that have multiple buildings and 5 stories high. Nobody has built on time. And I'm not talking about, like I said, 2 or 4 buildings. And you ain't talking about that. We're talking about an actual project that has pools and other things and in a dense environment. Nobody's built on time. So it's ridiculous and sickening. I'm back. Weather was great. Few showers during the night. Oh, good. This isn't like last year, November, because that was a nightmare for a lot of people. So cool. So you know the email, man. Support at stopstrugglingnow.com. Let me see it because I'll be blasting them because I still have the Jamie Gruber part 3 and part 4 that I haven't blasted yet because Larimar's over there playing games with the new people, promising people this is what it's going to look like now. Okay. Excuse me for a minute. Yeah. So, and there's people that own it, Oceana, right? Speaking of that, EV place, did you go around and see the other places? What's Oceana look like? That was supposed to be a cool project. If it had their man-made beach inside, it was going to have a little, you know, what I mean, it was going to be sweet. But I don't see how they have enough space. But we'll see. What about Atlanta? Because I know you have to drive by it on the way out. How far has that come? Because even they're not really showing any videos of. And again, I'm not thinking they're going to be done for 2 years. And people had to put down 80%. Oceana, people had to put down 80% because these are no-vol properties. Can you imagine putting down 80% and they say, well, it was going to be delivered in 2024 or March of 2025. And you're looking and go there and you find out this won't be done until 2026 or 2027. It's crazy, 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 crazy. We touched down when Melissa was touching down in Jamaica. Oh man, some seaweed. Wow. I'm glad nothing came towards DR. But a travesty. I was at a Halloween party at Vistacana. Oh, nice. How was it, man? It was pretty cool, I'm sure. Because Vistacana, they actually have some cool stuff that they do there for people that live there and don't even live there. So it's kind of cool. I like what they do. So, you know, Vistacon has always been one of my favorite places, but it does not really matter. The developers are the same there, too. I mean, we're still waiting on Riviera Costeño. We're still waiting on so many projects, man. Still waiting on, what's the other one? Urbe Vista, Urbe Luxury, uh, Sabana, I think may even be close to or should be some of their villas people should be dealing with. But nonetheless, let's get back into assets, buy assets. What assets are we talking about? You, as an individual, need to figure out what you can earn yourself. That's one, not at the job, but what you can bring in passively. Airbnb. Have you guys been seeing online how many ads? I've seen ads for Airbnb like off the charts. People are like, well, I'll show you how to do Airbnb. Whenever you see those type of ads, that means the Airbnb market is doing just what it's been happening with me. When post-retirement travel says, well, how's it been doing? I've been telling them it's single digits, occupancy rates. And all of my locations are in tourist areas. All of them. None are in regular, just residential hoods or anything like that. None. They're all in tourist locations where people go. And people are not making reservations 8 months, 9 months, a year in advance because demand is not there and people are undecided. They don't know what the future is going to be. So you have to make sure you know what your future is going to be. Okay. Haven't got enough time to see all. Well, how was the party, man? Let me know. I mean, was the party actually a party to actually sell things, or was it actually a nice party where they had the band out by the man-made beach, and they had like the bar and the restaurant and all that was open, and they had candy for the kids? Or I mean, what was going on? That'd be awesome to hear about. So that's what I love. So, anyhow, we talked about getting your credit right, the debt resolution, the tracy.sharpe with an E at the end at moneyladder.com. But what else do you need to do? I was getting to it. You need to figure out another skill set that makes you or allows you to make money. Passive income is nice, but if businesses are going out of business and you try to do a startup, it takes a lot. Cost of acquisition is a lot these days, even though there's AI, even though there's internet. But remember, you're dealing with Canadians, or 85% of their population are living paycheck to paycheck. In America, we're probably going to be at 85% when the next, well, if they give the real numbers, at the end of 2025 into 2026. That means not that many people are willing to spend money and go on vacations, and airfare is going to rise. It's not going to go down. All these flights that were canceled, delayed, they're going to have to make that money back somewhere, somehow, and it's going to be in high demand time. But will there ever be a high demand time when you're turning tourists away from outside of America? Because you need, let's see if this did anything. Check, check, mic check. We're back. I don't know how this happens. I didn't do anything. Thank you for letting me know. All right, so it was kids' party at the beach that they have bar for. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The bar and the food at that restaurant is awesome. All right, Tamara Larry's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Another investor is here. And oh, by the way, Tamara Larry, I got to tell you something. The Seven Palms, it turns out, hey, they're going to be late for the first time as well. So it turned out good because they didn't want to change their uh, 2026, October 2026 delivery. It won't even be till probably October 2028, the way this is going right now. So, and wait a minute, it's going to be 2026 next year. Yeah, it won't even be till end of 2028 or 2029 before they get to luxury and adventure. So, or they might do the first one by then, but definitely not both. They haven't even started breaking ground. So let's just call it what it is. So it's a good thing because again, them talking in October next year where they came up, you would have had to have them, what were they, 40%, 50%, 60%, I think. Yeah. Then you'd be sitting there like everybody else who already purchased. And I, again, was going to purchase there because they were one of the last ones that were delivering on time. So it's a good thing that it didn't happen. Good thing. So welcome. Hopefully everything's going well. EV Place, thank you so much for that, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to be on here much longer. This is all I pretty much had to say this evening. There's, invest in yourself for additional money, buy assets, and you got to be very careful on what assets. I'm going to give you guys something I'm thinking about because whenever there's a problem in an economy, one of the things that go down that's very cheap is land. And you can do a lot with land. And I'm not talking about like an acre or two. I'm talking about 10 acres, 20 acres, 40 acres, because a lot of people don't have money to buy them. So you have to know where to go, right? So people will sell land because it's sitting there. They have property taxes to pay every year. Some cases, HOAs or some other fees could be due, and they're sitting there like, well, it's not. It doesn't really rise in value that much. But the worst part is when there's a housing crisis or an economic crisis, land value actually, when it's bare land, goes down. And so people are sitting there like, man, my property, those 20 acres, it was worth 100 grand. Now nobody is buying for 50, right? Because it's an economic downturn. So now they're going to sell it at a lower price. So just stay tuned if you're thinking about land. And now remember, this is the era that you have internet. You can have Wi Fi if you want to do like a Tesla Wi Fi out in the middle of nowhere, as long as you have sun. You still can't deal with the no water and sewer part because you're going to have to bring your own water and sewer, right? But you can always change it into money making. All right. So think about that opportunity as possibly an opportunity later. But again, it would help awfully good if you had 775 and up credit score. So again, get it done. You got 1 year, 1 month to get it done. You have time. And if you don't need debt resolution, then just do it yourself. You need to pay down your credit cards ASAP. Below 9, 8, 7% in there of the total. So if you have total credit cards of 50 grand, right? Altogether, you need to be under $5,000 owed on all of them. That could get you up there. 6 or 5% will definitely get you there if you don't want to go any other route. But that's what you're going to need on time payments now, and drop it under 5%. That's the goal, the other way around. All right, let's go. Great page to check out for economic research besides Kathy Woods is Tom Lee's page. Yeah, Tom Lee's pretty good. Yep. Yep, Tom Lee, Kathy Woods. Yeah, that's what they do. They have to, they have investors, they're investing, they actually literally need to do this. So it's pretty cool. So and unfortunately the economic numbers, did you get that the government said they're not issuing numbers. They're not going to give out numbers because they said of the shutdown. I'm like, what's that got to do with anything? Seriously? That's insane because they know the numbers are bad. Because you had all these people. Now people are out of work. They were furloughed. So I don't know what they're trying to hide, but unfortunately, investors, that causes a problem later. Brian P., Mr. Dividend, he's out here. He was doing the salsa dance this weekend because he got paid from dividends, passive income, and he brings his tagline this evening. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream, Mr. Dividend. I have to say this again. Happy day, Eric. I hope all is well with you and your family. Yes, things are still positive direction. SSN family, smash that like button. That's right. Give it a one piece. I greatly appreciate it. And no, I have not checked the emails because I get upset because every time I check the emails, I see recalls for food items, which is bad. It just keeps going and going. I see CEOs, I see fraud, I see everything that people say, oh, these people are taking Medicaid away. And I see somebody's doing Medicaid fraud, and it ain't a damn immigrant, it's the business owner. Because who gets the Medicaid money? The business does, not the individual people. They're the ones defrauding the government. Oh man, I was surprised they're replacing roads not even in Punta Cana zone, but entire country. Yeah, well, you know. Hey, let me ask you something. I don't mind replacing roads, but all I want to know is, well, actually, since everybody's here, see the new recalls. I saw a few recalls, man. It's getting out of hand. Um, it seems like 3, 4 recalls every other day now. About the roads, again, that's low hanging fruit. We can put cement down. That's not a problem, or asphalt, whatever. The problem is water, sewer, electricity. That's the problem in DR. So, this thing about ignoring infrastructure is going to be the death knell. And actually, I shouldn't say death knell like that, but it is, because now that you have an economic downturn in the two countries that have the most tourists, so they won't be coming to DR to invest or buy or do anything. Now, and you're giving the tax cuts and tax breaks to the corporations there so they don't have to pay duty taxes for all the equipment and the $200 million they're building these places, 300 million, 500 million. They're getting virtually a pass. The citizens of DR don't make that much money. On average, it's less than $12,000 a year. So again, the island only has 11 million, and not all 11 million even work. So we got 11 million on the island. And the problem is, it costs a hell of a lot of money to do your electric grids, your sewer systems, because you have to dig underground and you have to plug in. That takes way more money than putting in some freaking asphalt, cement bullshit. Again, they need transportation update. There's 5 things. It's very simple. And they're talking about putting in a data grid. Data center. This is so crazy. Do you guys understand? Data centers use water. Water. And we're not talking about 10 gallons, 100 gallons. We're talking about thousands of gallons per day to keep it cool. Where on earth are they going to get that? If it happens, because they're talking, and I'm just like, and so what? It's only going to employ 30 people? Who cares? That should be a no-go zone. You live on an island. Water is precious. It doesn't matter, because after you have the 5,000 people that build it, after it's built, it's a data center. It's electronic. It's computerized. They don't need that many people to run it. So they're gone bye-bye. And meanwhile, the 30 or 25 dudes that work there make a nice, handsome sum, and they get to live in a villa in their own gated community. Unbelievable. So again, I get pissed, because that country should have done the right thing and should have said, hey, man, you want to invest over here? We got the hottest tourism market on the planet. Fine. The little tax cut, 10%, maybe. But this other stuff, hell no. We need livable wages. We need infrastructure. So we have to charge you. And hey, if you don't want to come play, don't worry. We have more tourists than we did in each of the last 3 years. Tourist numbers are rising. So we'll just have the hotels and the existing Airbnbs and all that. We'll just have them at 90% occupancy, or 95, right? I mean, I don't understand what they're doing. Well, I do. I mean, you get paid off, but that is a problem. Flooding in certain areas is a problem. It's just sickening to me. All right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for the dark side. Mr. Light 5190, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday live stream, and brings a nice hello to the house. I've never seen Mr. Light, I don't believe, but welcome again. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let your friends and family know. Family, we got family in the house. I love it. Thank you, familia. Mr. Light. Okay, I know who this is. Cuz, what's up? EV Place. Once again, one power outage for 2 hours on my 10-day stay. Yeah, and that's in Los Corrales, right? See, this is the thing. This is the electric grid that I'm referring to. What people don't realize is he had a 2 hours. He's in Los Corrales. There's people in other parts of the island that has theirs go out for days. That's right. It's not named Punta Cana, not named Santo Domingo. It's other areas. And that's the reason I'm like, man, number one is your electric grid. Number two is sewer water, two and three. I mean, you have other work to worry about than worrying about who's driving down roads. I mean, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. Yes, Los Corrales. Yeah, when I stayed there 2 months, literally it was like an hour or two. It happened 4 or 5 times, but it was an hour or two. It was never overnight, and no warnings, no nothing. So just poof. Oh, and can you imagine? It was May, high humidity levels. Luckily, it was always seemingly in the early morning, and luckily wasn't going to be in the place anyhow, going out doing what we got to do. So, but I can only imagine if it was hot and muggy, humid, and no AC for a day and night, like people told me in Las Terranas. Crazy. Punta Cana has priority. I don't think so, man. I don't know what the priority is because roads and highways and all that, yeah, that's cool. But like I said, the priority is you do realize they built your complex, did not increase the sewer system. They built Oceana. This is Los Corrales, did not improve the sewer system. They built the other projects. Uh, I want to say behind Blue Marina, but that wouldn't be right. Towards El Cordacito, and in fact, they do have it. El Cordacito, Ocean Bay, that's going to come online. That's a huge project on the border of Los Corrales and El Cordacito. Then you have the boardwalk project down there, Maple Suites. They're adding hundreds of units there. Again, where is the sewer system and new electricals, new power plants, all that? And guess what? That costs millions of dollars. And you can't tax the people there because they only make less than $1,000 per month that live there. Citizens that's going to pay the taxes. So that 18% tax that we're paying as consumers there is incredible. And imagine this, now that they've locked in that, imagine if it's 25, because that's where it has to go if you're not going to tax the rich. The hotels, you're not going to tax them. And then what? This is why I say there's going to be a stall scenario in my prediction. A stall scenario. Can you imagine sticking an elevator death trap? Hey, man, I think about that all the time. I think about that all the time. That's why in Arizona, because it gets so hot, that they don't allow elevators. But usually their buildings are 3 stories high. They don't do 4 or 5. And I can understand it. Even in Vegas, there's a couple places that are 3, 4 stories high, but they're resorts that have same thing. They have no elevators. Because they're not. The building isn't air conditioned from the floors, and so they're like, "No, we're not putting in elevators. We'll just have our staff help people with their stuff if they need. They can just call down to the front desk. We'll come get it. We'll come bring it down or take it up, whatever you need." That's their commitment. But for a condo not to have it or have it in that environment, a hot box, no way out. Well, I shouldn't say no way out. I mean, you can go through the ceiling and try to climb up or something, but still, I mean, by the time you get to an elevator, is it going to open? I mean, it's really risky. And again, I perceive this to be a thing that, like you said, there is going to come a time when there's a 3, 4 hour electricity that goes out, and hopefully their backup system somehow works. But if it doesn't, people could be in a hot box for 2, 3 hours, and it's going to be very bad. Very bad. Naval, Atlantida also. Exactly. Exactly. Jonathan Rodriguez, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Thank you so much for being in the house once again. Very nice to see you. What do you think about real estate in Puerto Rico? I don't. I don't. I don't. Uh, I would advise stay away. Puerto Rico's in the same boat. It's a territory of the United States, and the United States treats it like garbage, and they keep the funds from them. So there's no infrastructure rebuild there either. And that's a shame because that should actually be a United States haven. But the U.S., all they did was plunder. That's all. Sugarcane fields, domino pizza, domino, sugar, sugarcane. They extracted all the resources over 100 years and now left it there to die. Same thing, electrical grid, uh, water, sewer, garbage, all of it. It's a problem. Except, of course, in certain areas. The high, rich areas, okay, whatever. But that's not the majority of people. You have a few million people that don't even have running water. I mean, come on. A few million people that don't have electricity. It's absurd. I know you can buy over there cheap, man, but I do not recommend such a scenario. I do not. Hopefully that doesn't deter you too much one way or another. But I'm just saying, I would not invest in Puerto Rico. Hey, Eric, did you see this? Let's see. Collapse of Sondor. A Marriott-backed hotel chain leaves guests stranded mid-stay. Oh my God. Are you kidding me right now? No, I did not. This is no shocker. Let me go look. Where? Where? Can't be in Vegas, can it? I'm just saying. Sondor and Marriott Hotel split leaves guests stranded. Guests left stranded at boutique hotel chain. Sondor properties from New York to France say they were asked to leave their hotels abruptly after the company defaulted. Oh, there we go. Marriott abruptly, because their name is associated. They said, oh, let me cut ties now. Marriott abruptly cut ties with Sondor, leaving thousands of hotel guests stranded. Yeah, you think? I told you guys, told you. This is going to keep happening. One thing, and here's the thing, Marriott takes off. Sondor does short-term rentals. Okay. Oh man, that's messed up. And Marriott was going through them. That's messed up for short-term rentals and boutique hotels. Wow. This is all over the place. Okay, here's the thing. I guess this is worthy, but again, I trying to warn you, ladies and gentlemen, this is going down in real time. You're watching the decline of an empire right before your eyes, and it's escalated because we have people in power that are just pillaging, taking whatever assets, monies available, and keeping it to them and their cronies at the top. Meanwhile, a little bit is left over for the remaining amount, majority of 98% of the population. And there's no coming back because if people don't have money to spend, businesses go out of business, which also means employees are gone. All those employees are sitting at home trying to find a job. There are no jobs available, livable wage jobs available. So when you don't have livable wage jobs available, now people start taking two jobs. But now the two jobs you're still doing making ends meet because prices are rising. So hiding that information does not help anybody because people know by walking down the street. Here we go. Sondor has filed for bankruptcy and announced the shuttling down operations immediately, leaving some travelers stranded without rooms they booked months ago. Rooms were canceled, but the refunds haven't come back yet. Of course not. Um, Uptown with luggage and towed to her hotel room, not the studio apartment she booked online. Oh, damn. Saunders at Center East, which is a Marriott property. I'd never done that before and got a note on an email actually on Sunday saying that Saunders no longer had a licensing agreement with Marriott and my reservation was canceled. She received an email mirroring a release by Marriott on Sunday. The chain is no longer affiliated with Marriott Bonvoy. Marriott's immediate priority is supporting guests who have current. So why didn't Marriott tell? I know why, but gee, Sondor collected the money, and obviously they're claiming they're broke. So now Marriott didn't offer them to say, "Hey, stay in our other locations." Come on now, what's up with Marriott not standing up? It launched in 2014, partnered with Marriott last October, allowing Bonvoy members to book on the Marriott site, accumulate and redeem points. There are 9 properties in Manhattan, 3 in Queens, 1 in Brooklyn, and a corporate offices on Fifth Avenue. Some guests were even in the middle of their stay and told to get out. Oh, that's rough. That is rough. I'm telling you, these are signs. Did you guys see? If you missed the last live stream, it was bad signs. These are all signs. So you see, I was not exaggerating years ago. I told you guys what was going to happen. 100, says Jonathan. Yeah, man. Yeah, so yeah, man. No, Puerto Rico, man. Not for me. And I love Puerto Rico. Used to live there. It was cool, but it's not the same. It was back when they were pillaging. You can avoid a lot of taxes living in Puerto Rico. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right about that. They have that special deal. If you stay there, what, 2 years, you have to live there, and you have to live there a certain amount of time. And they started cracking down on a few people, but I'm sure under this IRS administration, they probably won't crack down as much. But you're going to live in that safe haven, uh, upscale area. Meanwhile, the whole rest of the island is below poverty level. All right. Again, you guys should study some things. The reason why I can't put some of the videos on is because other people have done videos, and if I do it, they copyright strike me. But you know what? I'll tell you guys. I'll show you, man. If you guys don't know where you live, um, oh, let me. Uh, oh, I'm gonna see if I can find a video that. Oh man, if you guys, once you see this video, you're going to be like, oh my God. You would be shocked. You're going to be in shock. I'm going to find it because if you watch this hour and a half or so video, they go through step by step because Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. They go through step by step. Puerto Rico was basically Mexico. That's what they treated it as, right? So they have cheap labor. Then they force farmers to sell their land and then work for them, giving them less wages, So now they lose their farms, lose their ecosystems, and then the U.S. has nerve to virtually put an embargo on Puerto Rico like there is now. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, not a state. But because it's a U.S. territory, that means that they cannot negotiate. They have in their situation when the U.S. has them as a territory, they can't negotiate their own tariffs. Can you guys believe it? I mean, it's bad. It's bad. So when somebody takes advantage of Puerto Rico and says, "Oh yeah, Puerto Rico, they have a corrupt government," I'm like, that's because you guys don't give them money and you don't make them where they can vote for a president, and you dictate the shipping lanes for in and out of Puerto Rico by the United States. They can't just go and make a deal with whoever they want. It's crazy. Um, Here, let me see if I can pull it up. This is something for the ages. Everybody should know. This is why I tell people you don't know where you live. You don't know where you live. You don't live in a country that one point says the country on the hill. your huddle, bring your huddle masses and all this stuff, and everything's going to be fine. We want you to be here, this, that, and the other. Okay, you like hearing that rhetoric. Um, but when it comes to our territories, here it is. I found it. Here it is. Puerto Rico is a dying country. Here it is. Oh, yeah, guys, when you see this, you're going to be like, oh man, no way. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So when they do this, that tax break stuff, it doesn't help anybody. All it does is the people that live there, they don't even have jobs. There's the manufacturing facilities have left because again, what they're doing to DR, the United States is talking about you're going to have manufacturing free trade zone and all this stuff. Um, hold on a second. I need to look. The manufacturing, it's going to be cheap labor. They're going to get paid what they get paid in Dominican peso money. You still be cheap. Yes, it'll be a little nicer because you have a paying job. You know it's coming in. It may be 5 or 10% more than the normal wages, but after that, then they're going to move away to whoever the next lowest country that comes around after they've extracted all the materials, just like what they did to Haiti. The United States goes to Haiti, invades Haiti in 1920s with our U.S. Army, steals their gold, takes all of their natural resources that they can grab for 2, 3, 4 years, and then eventually gives them back their whatever. They've installed their own puppet, right? The United States. You guys don't know where you live, but here goes a glimpse right here. It's in the chat room. Hopefully that's it. Go check it out. Go check it out. You can avoid a lot of taxes living in Puerto Rico. That is true. They have a special tax incentive, as I was mentioning. In your opinion, from Jonathan Rodriguez, what's the best dividend stock to start loading up on? Hey, man, I'm not the best. There is no the best. That's all I can say. Here, okay, I shouldn't. I'm not going to give any the best, because it's going to be volatile, and usually in a volatile situation, a lot of dividend stocks either cut their dividends or start changing their dividend payouts. So it's very, very hard. Now, with that said, with a decline of federal funds rate, federal funds mean banks can trade at a borrowed number lower than citizens can. So when they do the 0.25 interest rate cut, probably December, I guess, that's going to probably bring it down to 3.5, 3.25% on the low end. So they get to borrow. So the reason I'm saying this is because this leads to what I like, and that is real estate investment trust, because they will refinance at a lower rate. And that means as long as they have the people paying, then they will have their dividends still coming out like clockwork. And it's going to happen because they're going to have 2 rate cuts in the next 6 months. Like I said, in February, we now have 2 new appointed out of the 9 Fed Reserve is going to be by Trump. A third person is already on Trump's team. So now the margin has come where the reasonable people would say, we can't do this. Inflation is higher. We can't cut rates, which is what should happen. So now it's going to be, instead of a 7-2 vote like last time, it makes it a 6-3 vote. If I'm just saying, just to give you an idea, by him being able to pick another seat. So now that could, and who knows, at 6-3, it could be 5-5, right? Because you may be able to persuade 1 or 2 of the other side to do what you want to do. So We'll see. But I like real estate investment trusts when interest federal funds rate goes down because what they can borrow at is lesser, which means their dividends should not be cut. But again, you never know because commercial properties is a problem. We got the highest level of defaults on that. But again, where people live is not really necessarily commercial, except it is commercial because of the volume, the number of people, and you make a commercial loan. But the problem is people are probably not going to move. So that's not a problem. That's a good thing for real estate investment trusts. And real estate investment trusts can alter their prices for its tenants, whether it's commercial or whether it's residential, right? If people are I mean, how many times does rent go down? Not often, but I think we're going to see things now that haven't really been done before because survival of corporations and individuals are on the same team. Because if individuals have no job, they can't pay. If they have a job and they're already living paycheck to paycheck, you can't raise the rent. So people move out. So it's a catch 22. But anyhow, maybe somebody else might have something to say. Here we go. Easily the best for dividends is GPIQ. You get cash flow plus equity growth. I'm not familiar with GPIQ, but this is why you keep your pen, pads, and papers ready, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, again, I told you guys you got 1 year, 1 month to go. You can already see the cracks. The stock market is not your market. 93% of the stock market is owned by the top 10% of the wealthiest. And the top 10% of the wealthiest personal net wealth on average is 3.1, 3.4 million. So you understand why the top 10% owns 93% of the stock market, right? So again, you need to play with those guys. GPIQ is a Goldman Sachs NASDAQ 100 premium income ITF. They don't discuss anything called dividends. So let's go look it up. Oh, I should say one other thing. JEPQ, I would also recommend that. That's going to be around 11 to 11.5%. Key dividend for GPIQ is pretty good, 9.7% to 10.8%. The 12-month dividend was $5.15. And this looks like JEPQ, quite frankly, because I think that stock wasn't in the 50s, 53.26. That's exactly right. So it's a little under 10%. But JEPQ, by the way, that's another nice one. In fact, it's at 58.75. So it's it's around 11% for JP Morgan, JP JEPQ. JEPY is going to be around 9%, 8.5 to 9% right now. But that's JP Morgan. So I would recommend those, that obviously, but hopefully that helps. Dropping gems, Jonathan Rodriguez, dropping gems. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And thank you for your support, by the way. And everybody, thank you for your support. So again, I'm going to drop that Puerto Rico because once you watch that, because they're straight on the money. They're not even lying. And it gets much worse, like I said, treating it just like it was a dumping ground after they extracted everything. And like I said, Domino Sugar is there. And it's not owned. And it's bad. Just watch this. It's bad. How do you like an ambassador coming to an island, just like in Hawaii? Dole was the ambassador for the United States. That's why Dole Pineapple is in the mountains of Oahu. Same thing. Pillage, take control, and then tell them, deal with it. Same thing. Same thing. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico was the same way. And unfortunately, Haiti and DR is now trying to acquiesce to the United States, but they don't understand that the United States is actually doing a repeat of Puerto Rico. So what they perceive as any of the assets, that's what they're looking for. The cheap labor is number one. There must be something else in DR, but DR is not Haiti. Haiti has a bunch of assets, rare earth minerals even. So that's why they always have to make sure that they put in their puppet. And they're not going to overthrow DR, I don't think. But that's what they're already putting their usual, hey, have a free trade area. Hey, we're going to bring some jobs. Hey, that's how it all starts. Same thing. And then whatever industries is number one, they're going to try and take over. Same MO. So again, go check out that video. Get back to me on Friday. Or, hey, just watch the first 5 minutes or listen to the first 5 minutes as we talk. You'll be like, what's going on here? I didn't realize. I thought it was a cool island. It is a cool island. But you guys know the hurricanes that came out in Puerto Rico like 4 or 5 years back, 6 years back? They still don't even have electricity over more than 50% of the island. So much for, you know, Elon Musk going, oh, yeah, I'll give them free electricity. I'll bring in some of my stuff. Blah, blah. Yeah, publicity stunts. You know, schools have closed. Just watch it. Just watch it. You're going to be like, what the frick? You know, they can't even get loans from the United States government. Right. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. And they are actually U.S. citizens, by the way. That's right. U.S. citizens. If you're born in Puerto Rico, you're a U.S. citizen. Exactly. And that's how America is treating U.S. citizens. Watch the video. And they leave some things out, by the way. But it's pretty thorough, I will say. All right. I'm going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you study today. Tomorrow, I'll be dropping. Well, I won't. I'll be traveling tomorrow. So I won't be dropping any video. I want to do part 3, part 4 for Larimar to sew that all up. But I can't, and I want to start some other things. This is Stop Struggling Now. And I'm talking with my uncle about helping a friend of theirs. And I think I'm going to go that route as well. Since it's called Stop Struggling Now, I'm going to start making videos about a morning shake that I make. The morning shake combats a lot of things, such, high blood pressure and your omegas you may need. How your stomach, gut, ginger is pretty good for that. Your gut needs to be working properly for your body to function properly and your mind. But this is based on some mind, helps your mind as well. A lot of people are going to have Alzheimer's. You heard of the PFA, the aluminums, the metals that's in our soil, and then people are actually ingesting metals that never can be expelled from your body. This can't help with that, but that's the point I'm trying to make is you need to start worrying about your health. We already have situations that's coming, recalls daily on food supply. There's a lot of things, but healthcare is number one. Bankruptcy, medical, and on your credit report, it's bad. All right. So you don't want to be sick. So you want to have the necessary, your immune system built up. You want to actually have some armor. You want to have blood coursing through your veins that's carrying to your from your arteries into your organs, into wherever your mind says, hey, we got danger problem here. We got anything to fight this? And fighting it, sugar's not it. Sugar doesn't fight anything. In fact, sugar helps your body's enemy. Just keep that in mind. And carbohydrates is sugar. And by the way, I suggest people get out a pack of sugar, like when you go to a table at the coffee shop or restaurant and they have packs of sugar. Put down on the table 15, 20 packs of sugar. And somebody goes, that's one serving in your drink, like a soda, right? Except it's worse. Sodas are usually somewhere between 20 to 28 grams of sugar. That's 28 packs of sugar in a 12-ounce can of soda. But it's not just 20 some packs of sugar. Look at the carbs and the carbohydrates would say another 15 to 30 grams. That's actually turns into sugar in your body. Bad stuff happens from sugar. So if you eliminate the sugar and change to stevia, for instance, which is plant-based, not sugar like real sugar, that helps you greatly. But just keep in mind how much stuff has sugar in it. And you aren't paying attention. Like you could look at the back of your box of cereal and you see like, 26 grams of sugar. Actually, it's not that. It's 26 grams per sugar for your 8-ounce bowl of cereal. The box holds X amount of bowls of cereal. It could be 10. It's 10 times that, and you're sitting there giving that to your kids in the morning to go off to school. That's a sugar high. So if they're having a problem, they're jumping around, bouncing off walls, you gave them almost 50 packs of sugar before they went to school. And then if you did the right thing, giving them some orange juice, guess what? That has 20 as well. So they run off to school with 70 packs of sugar coursing through their veins. Hyper. Little Johnny can't, he's not paying attention. He's jumping, he's disrupting the class. He's falling asleep after being here 3 hours. Of course, he had a sugar high. Again, you guys have heard me say this before. This is why the government that doesn't care about your health care, you need to care about it. Health is wealth. So just keep that in mind. I'll start making some videos whenever I make the shake. And it's helpful for Alzheimer's. It's helpful for even if you don't have it, Alzheimer's. It helps for mental situations. It also helps with your overall body. So again, my dad, who's elderly, going to be 90 years old next year, he uh, was on it for 2 months, maybe 3. And he had some pills to take. He goes in and sees his doctor. They get the report out and they're looking and they're just like, what have you been doing? And he says, well, I've been, exercising a little bit more. And they're like, okay, but stuff is getting in normal range that wasn't in normal range before. And in fact, you don't need these pills anymore. We don't know what's going on. He goes, oh yeah. My son and his wife does formulations. She put together something and she's been telling me to take it. I've been taking that for 2 or 3 months. He's like, well, keep doing whatever you're doing because they literally took him off everything but one thing. And right now I have to see when I get back what if he's even on that one, because it's a total body thing, even though it concentrates because there's lion mane, there's other MCT powder and things like this that helps with cleaning plaque off you and recreating some new brain cells. Yes, but you still have to feed all your organs, and getting your gut right, which is your engine, has to be right as well. And that helps all of that. So that's why all of a sudden it's like, well, if you have your blood flowing through your veins efficiently, then your blood pressure goes down. If you don't have sugar in your system and you have the onset of diabetes, stage 1, all of a sudden you're not taking sugar. All of a sudden it's like, well, you don't even need insulin no more because your body's now able to process because you are dumping 50, 60, 70 grams of sugar 2 or 3 times a day in your body. So all of that starts you're like not putting it in, not hurting it, and all of a sudden your body's performing, trying to get back to where it is. So there you go. All right. I'll start making some videos probably in like 2 weeks. Because every day making shakes. Make them a little different too, because blueberries is mandatory. That helps actually create new brain cells. So that's mandatory. And then I'll change up by adding an apple or not, adding oranges or not. Bananas in there, you have to have that. Ginger, of course. There's several things. There's so many things to list. But the point is, put all that in there, and that's an actual powerful thing for almost total body. CRF is a good one too. It's outpacing the S&P. There goes another stock symbol, ladies and gentlemen. CRF. Okay, CRF stock is $8.08. Don't know what it is. Not familiar. I almost was thinking it's Cliffs, but that's not Cliffs. Cornerstone. Total Return Fund. 808. Total, well, they don't give much info. It's at 17. They gave $1.40. That's pretty good. November 14th, $1.40 is coming per share. Oh no, that's the annual dividend, 140. So it's what is that, 35 cents per share? But still, that's 17.37%. I like it. I don't know what they do though. Return fund. Oh, that looks like okay. It says 11.8 cents. Oh, yes, that's correct. It's not 35 cents. What am I thinking? That's every 3 months. 11.68 cents will be paid this November 14th. And of course, if you buy the stock right now, you won't get a dividend because the ex-dividend date has already passed, I'm sure. But if you want to get in on a 17.3, CRF is pretty good. And it dropped too. Today, it went from 806 or so down to 804, then back up to 808. After hours, it still went back up. So it only went down a few cents, 5 cents, then back up. Let's see what's happening. Year over year, -7. So 6 months, -0, -0.01. So if it's hovering around that and you can get a true 17%, that's a winner. This is like the Yomax ETF situation. Well, I'll say but it's not the same because they're doing total return fund. Now, I don't know what total return fund is or what they're holding, but that's what an investor needs to find out. All right. Because remember, they're -7% year over year with their stock price. So in effect, you would be 17%, 10% after you subtract the 7% stock price drop, in my opinion. That's how I do it. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into this on a Friday night and we'll get some more story night activity happening. Thank you so much, MDA0214, and everyone else who contributed tonight. I greatly appreciate it. I love you guys very much. And again, be safe out here and make sure you do what you need to do for you and your family. And that extra stream of revenue is now more important than ever. And learning how to trade on the stock market may be very, very beneficial to you. Mind you, there is a learning curve, but don't worry. In a week and a half, when I'm sitting where I'm just going to be chilling, then 2 weeks, let's say again, that's when we're going to start going through the Candlestick Bible PDF, page by page. Maybe not on live streams. I'm probably going to run it on a regular video. And that way you can understand what you're looking at with regard to candles, something that came out a while ago. And that can give you some sort of an advantage because that candles, it trades across all trading. All right. Whether you're trading gold, gold, US dollar, whether you're trading BTC, USD, whether you're trading the US dollar versus Japanese yen. It does not matter. The candle reading is important. It does take some time too. It's not for the faint at heart because eventually you're going to have to use your own real money. All right. I'm just saying. So you better learn while you have time to learn. And some people are sitting here right now, don't have time to learn, but you're going to have to make time. All right. And speaking of that PDF, you can get ahead. In fact, right? Let me put a link in the chat room, by the way. Upload. Oops, didn't come up. Hold on. Upload. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing. There you go. Here's where you can get the PDF for that candlestick PDF. It's 168 pages. You can start getting started now. All right. MDA says, can't really pay attention to the price so much. Regular stock price don't include dividends. You have to look at a Morningstar chart to see total return. Yeah, exactly. I thank you so much for mentioning that. I was just bringing it up so people would understand that if the stock price goes down, because the majority of the time, that's where your money is. So I'll use a perfect example. If you had $1,000 and your dividend is, let's just use this one, $1.40 per share. So in fact, I'll even do it how to make it real time. So if you put $1,000 in there last year, okay, what is that? 1,000 divided by, let's just call it $8. Okay, divided by $8. Oh, sorry, no, we're negative 7%. So it has to be 8. I'll just do 8.95. I don't really know. Okay. That means we have a 111 shares and 73 cents. Okay. So now we get $1.40 annually per share. Okay, so I got 111.73, we'll call it. There's some other numerals, but it's okay. 1.7, I'm using all of it. So I'm going to times this by $1.40. That's $156 over the year. $156.42 if I take out the next four places. All right. So that's how much in dividends we got. So now what I'm going to do is 8.95 times 93%. Sorry. 1,000 times, it's $930 already. So the value of your stock has dropped $930, if I got this right. Somewhere like that, let's say. Yeah, that's correct. So it's $930. We got $156 in dividends. We're at 1,086. That turns into 8.6 or thereabouts. I'm pretty close to the number. So that is what I'm referring to right now. All right. So in essence, you didn't get 17% because you would have put in 1,000. You would have 1,070. Right. Yeah. Somewhere in that ballpark. So we're not where we should be. Yes, we have a profit of 8.6%. So that's the way I look at it. And then Morningstar, like he said, would actually give the real numbers. All right, MDA0214. Thank you for that info. Also, they reinvest dividends at the net asset value. So you're also getting some gains there as well. Yeah, that's the NAV. Whenever you see NAV, it's the net asset value. That does matter because a lot of places sometimes does not go by the NAV. All right, so that could or couldn't Could hurt you, maybe not hurt you, but it all depends. These are some things you may need to pay attention to. So that does good as well. But yeah, just on an annual basis, no redividend, no reinvesting, it would have been 8.6. Reinvesting means he would have gotten another share or two over that time. So we would have, even if I said 5 shares, we would add five, almost $7 or something like that, right? So 7.50, $8. So it'd be at 116. That would be great, right? 1,000. Well, no, it's only 16 more dollars. So no, we'll be at 200. So we'll be around 10% maybe, or 11. But either way, just keep in mind that's what you have to look at whenever you're doing dividends. All right. And I like, if things, first of all, it's always cool if the price can stay within a range. And if it grows, that's even better. Right. So also, they reinvest dividend in net SFS. So you're also getting some gains. Yep. Exactly. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen. With all that said, we got to get in and wrap it up. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And like I said, I know it's hard out here, and that's why you have to keep thinking. Whatever's going on in the government goes on, but what is happening behind those doors on the hill is affecting your future, impacting it greatly, because you have children, you have grandkids, you may have parents. If their Medicaid is pulled, Medicare is pulled, they're not covered anymore. The nursing home has to release its patients because no funding. All of that will matter because you may be the family members that might have to take care of them. And they may be sick as well, where their pills might be $50, $100, because now you took away the ACA subsidies. All that is going down. And so you don't know what your future is going to be. So you have to plan accordingly, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully I've helped tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like what we're talking about here. And also we have memberships as well. Just remember, at the end of 1 year, you always get your gear, right? That's one. There's a few perks. Sometimes videos come out for members only before they come out for general population. So all of that comes in to help. Can't hurt you. If your stock is $8, your dividends will reinvest in that asset, which could be 7.75, 7.6. Yes, exactly. I agree with you. I mean, under the circumstances, I don't know what they do. I mean, if they're just doing the market, that's one thing, but who knows? You got to study what they're doing. But I don't have a problem with 17.7 being 11.11 or 12%. That's still going to be higher than the inflationary numbers we're getting. But that also means you control it. You have an asset. That's the key. All right. And if you do invest, you're going to have to pay attention, right, to economic news and what our government's doing. Just keep that in mind. Thank you so much, MDA0214. Greatly appreciated. And with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe out here. Make sure you stay safe and your family stay safe, because a lot of people are going crazy, rightfully so. Layoffs, which is the job loss altogether, furloughed, no food on the cupboards. There's a lot of things going on for American citizens that should never have happened. So just keep that in mind. And with all that said, keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.